Welcome everybody to today's webinar. Today's topic is Infraworks 2018.0, the new features. Before I get into the webinar, this is being recorded and this will go up on our YouTube channel probably by end of day. So if you missed anything, it'll be up there. Don't hesitate to ask questions. If I see the question and it pertains to what I'm talking about, I'll stop, talk about it. If I think it can wait to the end, I'll go ahead and answer the questions at the end. But my name is Scott Mizek, Application Engineer here at CAD Technology Center. My specialties are Civil 3D, Map 3D, and Infraworks, among others. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and start you guys off with a poll. And the question is basically, are you running Infraworks 2018.0? Two options or three options. Yes, I'm running 2018.0. No, I'm still running a 2017 version, so either 0.0, 0.1, 2, or 3, or the infamous, I don't even have it installed. And so I'll let that run for a couple seconds. Right now it looks like the majority is still running a version of 2017. We got a handful in there that has actually upgraded to 2018.0, and then a couple in there that are not even, that they don't even have the software installed. So I'll go about 10 more seconds because it looks like people are still voting. All right, looks like we're good. So I'll go ahead and close down the poll, and we'll go ahead and get right into this. So before I talk about the new features, let's just talk about some of the features that actually came out in two of the previous releases, mainly because this isn't a yearly release. This is actually coming out quarterly to every 4 months, give or take. I think they went every 4 months last year, but in 2016, they went about every 3 months. So some of the new features that actually came out in 2017.3 were the adjustments to roadside grading, the ability to add and modify bridge decks and girders in cross sections, and generate terrain and model features from point clouds. Those were some of the big key features in the 0.3 release. And then in the 0.2 release, there were working with views, the run a flood simulation animation, and then apply and inspect super elevations in component roads. So those were some of the key new features that came out basically 6 to 9 months ago. So let's go ahead and talk about the new features of 2018.0. They can be broken down into 4 basic categories: tools that improve performance, a smarter road design, and then more detailed quantities, and then obviously custom bridge components. So let's talk about the tools that improve performance. The first one is Simplified Trees. As you can see in the screen cap, my trees are basic, they're round, they're not that detailed, and they're transparent. What this allows me to do is to turn all my trees into a simplified tree, so one, I can have more trees in there and it doesn't deter from the overall performance of the model. I can move a lot smoother, it doesn't bog it down. But second, if maybe I had something that was in those trees, maybe there was a building that we're building, inside those trees, that building is going to stand out and the trees are going to take a background approach to it. So it's not going to deter from your actual detailed design, because unless you're a forester, trees aren't going to be the main aspect of your design. So we want the trees to show up saying, hey, there's trees there, but we don't want them to be the dominant feature of the model. By going to Simplified Trees, that allows me to put them in the background and show off the true aspect of my model. Improved annotation performance. It's not that big, but it's still very helpful. What this will allow me to do is, in this example, click from light pole to light pole, and it will pop up the dimension. But as I zoom or rotate, my dimension label will stay orientated to my view. If I zoom in and out, the annotation will fade. So the closer I get, the brighter it is. And then, as I mentioned, as I change my perspective as my viewpoint, my vantage point, the labels will automatically respond. New grading interaction. As we saw in the 2017.3 release, editing roadside grading was made available. Well, now they made it a little bit easier and user-friendly. The same concepts are there. It's just a lot easier. It's more user in tune. The grips are a little bit bigger, so I have the capabilities of just making the adjustments a little bit faster. And we'll see this because I will be demoing all this live. Smarter road designs. Topic number 2. The road annotation now includes fixed stationing labels. So before it showed where there was a PC, a PT, maybe the begin vertical curve section, end vertical curve section, things like that. But now it'll actually show station increments. And those station increments are predetermined. We can't make adjustments to those. But if you're running meters, it's going to be every 50 meters. And if you're running feet, it'll be every 100 feet. Again, we can't make edits to the distance in there, but as if I show my fixed annotation for U.S. survey foot, it will be every 100 foot. Automatic option. This is actually really cool. Before, we could take a design road, click on it, and say, convert to a component road. And if you forgot to change which model you wanted to use, you may have had a nice design road that was built properly. It had 14-foot lanes, 4-foot shoulders, curb, gravel behind the curb, and then maybe a daylight. And if you, again, turned it into a component road and you accidentally picked 4-lane bridge, guess what? Your road now turned into a 4-lane bridge, and now you have to go over and start the process over again of making the lanes the proper width, the shoulders, the curb, maybe deleting out lanes. But now with the automatic option, it will read your design road, and if it reads 2 lanes, 1 forward, 1 backward, with curb, and then a shoulder, or a shoulder in between the lane and the curb, it will go in and it will make a component road with those same specifications. Your lane will be the proper width, your shoulder will be the proper width, and your curb will be identical to what was in the design road. No more do you have to go back and remodify the component road to make it look the way you want. But if there was one in your library that is predetermined, this is what I want my road to look like, you do still have the manual option to convert a design road into a component road and say, select, I want my 4-lane road option 6. And it will come in based off of those standards. So really nice. I don't know how many times I've converted a design road into a component road, and it shrunk my lanes down to 9.5 foot, and I had to go back through and redesign everything. Feedback when you break the rules. Just like in an alignment geometry editor in Civil 3D, I have the same capabilities in Infraworks. So in this example, it's got a curve radius right in there that is too small for the speed of the road, and you end up getting a warning sign saying that the radius violates road design standards. Supported values are from 384 to 1708, and this curve radius was like 250 foot. So if your radius is too small, it's going to show up yellow. If your radius is the proper size or meets standards, it'll be green. If we need to see it, if we want to see what's going on, once we click the road, we actually click on the alignment of the road, and then you'll be able to get the curve radius and curve length in there also. More detailed road quantities. Third topic. We can now get more information from our road in Infraworks than just earthworks cut fill. We now have the capability to include other components of the road. Is there curb? Is there a shoulder? Is there a jersey wall? Is there a guardrail? If there's a bridge in my road, part of my road, it will give me information about the bridge. How many girders are there? How many columns are there? What are the, the grades of the girders? And things like that. And you can see some of the information in here. Material quantities. I have the ability to calculate drainage, some bridge, road components. There's curb and gutter, jersey barriers, lanes, shoulder, sidewalk, slope medians. So all that information I can now get quantities from, and once I've listed my quantities, I have the ability to export it out as a report. And then custom bridge components. I have the ability, if you use Inventor, to create a model, a part in Inventor with parametric capabilities, and then import that into Infraworks. Because I just put Infraworks on my machine, I'm going to run the video of this, and we can look at this. So what we're doing right now is we basically built a basic bridge column, and we've added some information into there, went into the environments, and now we're saving it out. And now in in Infraworks, we'll go into the parametric models in the style palette, create a new one, and it shows up in the style palette. And now I have the ability to select one and then drag and drop that component into Infraworks. And now that I've got it selected, I have the ability to go in and say, hey, let's apply it to the first three on both ends. So we went in, selected the other two on that end, and then the other three on the far end, and now I have three different pair columns at the beginning, different ones in the middle, and then the other columns at the end. And within Infraworks, I have the ability to make edits to that column. So I could just open up this pier, make edits to it, and instantly, well, I can't say instantly, but have a second pier or a second column that's similar but different in there. So it's quickly, you can easily make edits. You can easily make edits to a part in Infraworks once it's in Infraworks. I don't have to keep going out to Inventor to keep building new parts. Excuse me. So let's go ahead and jump into the software. And let's look at the Simplified Trees first. So I have a handful of trees in here. And as we know with Infraworks, as I zoom in, I can see branches, I can see leaves. But you know what? Maybe there's something in my model that I want to show off, not the trees. I can come in to my conceptual view and then the settings, and I can turn off realistic trees. And as soon as I turn off realistic trees, they now become transparent, basic shapes, nothing, a lot of detail in there. I mean, there's not a lot of detail in there. So it doesn't detract from the actual purpose of my model. So that's Simplified Trees. It's as simple as that. In the view settings, realistic trees. And obviously I have other options. I could turn off my sky. I could turn off wire frames or turn wireframes on. I can do a few other things like that. Annotation. Let me close that out. Home. Point to point. Click from bollard to bollard. Whoops. And now as I pan and rotate, that label stays basically plan readable. And as I zoom out, the label grows so that I can always still read it. And if I add another one, they stay plan readable. And maybe I go from here to here. They always, no matter where I'm at, they're always, I can always read those labels. Grading interaction. Let me come in. Got my nice bright green grading in here. Click on my corridor. Oops. Get out of the distance command. Click one more time to get to the roadside grading. There we go. Split grading. The slide bar, it's a little bit bigger, a little bit easier to pick. Let's pick station 4 plus 50. And I hit enter too soon. But now I can make adjustments to my grading. Oops, I actually put it in twice. That's why. Make quicker adjustments to it. And then let me come into here. Let's make that 10 to 1. 10 to 1. Add transition. One more time here. Pull that back out to there. So the grading, while it still has the same functionality as it did in previous releases, it's just a little bit easier to see and manipulate. So that brings me into the road annotation. I've clicked on my road, and I now see fixed stations, so 3 plus 50, 4 plus 50, along with the PCs, the PTs, any super elevation if I had that turned on. But if I go into a view that's more ISO, more non-plan, those fixed elevations will turn off and they'll hide. Again, if I don't want to see them, I can come in and say, do not show road geometry, or show it. So if you want to see it, see it. If you don't, you don't. But it now includes fixed stationing. And again, like I said at the beginning, for US survey foot, it will be every 100-foot increments. If you're running meters, it's going to be every 50 meters. There's not an editing capability of that just yet. I believe this is, I got to find my design road really quick. I built one and I just forgot where I put it. I probably already built it. So I'll just quickly convert to a design road. And now I have convert to a component road, and I have manual, which brings me the way it used to be. It brings up the little dialog box. I pick what model, what typical cross-section I want out of my library, and it brings it in. I can come in and say automatic, and it's going to remember the lane widths. It's going to remember what I had for sidewalks, and I now have a component road that looks very similar to that of the original design road. So if I come in and do old school, and I'll pick that one, convert to design road. Now, manual, here's my dialog box again, and yep, here's the assembly style and it's set to lane, and I'm usually quick on the clicking, so I just say convert, and I totally forgot to change the style. I now have the lane. And so the automatic, again, keeps the information intact in terms of lane width, shoulder widths, information like that. Let's take a quick peek at my curve on my design road here. And it's green. It tells me that, hey, I must be good. But if I pull this out, it now gives me a warning saying your radius is too tight for the speed of your road. Because if I look at my road, it's set for 15 miles an hour, and having a radius that small is obviously too small. So if I click on my radius, click, I get a curve radius of 29.91 feet. And as I hover over it, or click the little pen right in there, it says radius violates roadway design standards. It basically needs to be at least 65 feet in size. So another nice tool. All you got to do is click on your road. If it's yellow, it's bad. If it's green, it's good. I've got my road selected still, my component road. I can come into Quantities, click on Quantities, get the other calculator, show road quantities, and it's calculating based off of my road, and it came in and it found my bridge right here. It told me all the information I have about my bridge. I have Jersey barriers. If I zoom in, I have some Jersey walls over the bridge. Yeah, they were. I lengthened my bridge after I put them in and forgot to move the Jersey walls, but they're there. The curb and gutter, I have curb and gutter going the whole length on both sides of the road, so it's calculated. It also calculates the length. So I've now built a basic quantities out of here. I can say generate report and export it out as a CSV, and now I can send it to my estimator and say, hey, how much is this project going to cost us? And I've already covered parametric parts in Inventor into Infraworks. The only thing I can really do is go to Style Palette and Parametric Models right there. Import them in. I can make edits inside of Inventor or inside of Infraworks, so I don't have to, again, keep jumping back and forth between Inventor and Infraworks. Once I've got something similar in Infraworks, I can make modifications to it, to there. Going to fire up questions because, oops, I just went past it. So again, the new features in 2018.0, Simplified Trees, improved annotation performance, new grading interaction, same functionality, just smoother, easier to manipulate. Road annotation now includes fixed annotation. The option to automatically convert a design road into a component road. And then, of course, feedback. Hey, when your radius is too small, it'll let you know. More detailed quantities. I get individual road components out of my quantities. We saw Jersey walls, we saw curb and gutter, we saw bridge components, and then export it out to a CSV, and then the ability to create parametric components for like bridge piers, bridge columns, add it to your library, and it's easy to work inside of Infraworks to make edits to that. So with that, I'll open it up to questions. The features were, the key ones, definitely Simplified Trees, the automatic design road to component road. Those were the two big ones that I would definitely stress. The quantities, definitely helpful, especially if you're doing preliminary planning and cost analysis. The feedback, The annotation, the grading interaction, yeah, they're nice. They make things a little bit easier to use, but you know what? They were just an enhancement.